Welcome to King Says So, a channel that advocates for one Africa, one land, one Africa, one language, one Africa, one currency, one Africa, one army. I wish to witness Africans all around the world united as one in our lifetime. Enjoy. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Eningi. I'm back at it again with another one. And I just wanted to touch quickly on this thing of the open conversation with Tate JJ Tabane, which he had with Julius Malema, and allowing the media to ask questions, allowing the media to be free and shoot questions at Julius Malema. We all want to hear what Julius Malema has to say, being that he is one of the most promising politicians that we have in South Africa. It's important to hear some of his views, and I'll be covering the interview is about 2 hours, just a little bit over 2 hours. So I want to cover most of the things that he spoke about in that interview, because it's so important to just highlight the things that stood out for me. Another question that stood out for me is when they asked him about Jacob Zuma and if he had a conversation with Cyril Ramaphosa about giving Jacob Zuma the presidential pardon when it comes to Jacob Zuma going again and serving time in prison. We know Jacob Zuma is not feeling well. He is, last time I checked, was in Russia going under medical checkups and I think admitted in a hospital there. And he is 81 years old, and he has served the term last year. So, excuse me, guys. And it's quite interesting to hear how Malema answered the question. Let's quickly listen.
Anita Hunter from the News 24. What did President Cyril Ramaphosa say to you yesterday when you asked him for the presidential pardon for for former President Zuma? Did you end up speaking to him?
No. We didn't speak about presidential pardon. I got his number, and then I called him. We spoke about other things, and then we agreed we'll make time to meet.
Other things like what?
No, our things. It was a private call.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when do you envision, and what is the case are you going to make to the president?
No.
And what?
I've not made that call because the judgment is not what you guys are saying. The judgment says the Department of Correctional Service must still make a decision.
Sure.
So I can't go to president and talk about a non-existing decision.
But you would.
But if they say he must go back, I will go to him and argue my case with him that the guy is sick, the guy is old, his struggle credentials, his service to the public office, and the fact that he served time in prison, and fact that parole on its own does not mean you are free. You are still continuing to serve even from outside. It's enough for you to give him a presidential pardon to avoid a possibility of instability which was experienced yesterday.
Guys, if we be honest with ourselves, we all know that what Jacob Zuma is facing is punishment for being in the wrong faction. Cyril Ramaphosa, of course, has got all the power to put a stop into this nonsense of Jacob Zuma serving a prison term. It's unnecessary. It does not benefit the ANC in any way, shape, or form. Because remember, what you do to others can be done unto you. And with Cyril Ramaphosa, the issue of the Phala saga will follow him forever. And there's other issues that will come out, issues like the Marikana issue, and all of those issues can be reopened and reintroduced in the court system. And you might find yourself, after being a president, fighting court appearances left and right, of which is where Jacob Zuma is finding himself in a position where it is not nice to see a former head of state, even with Robert Mugabe. It was not nice seeing the old man being suffering, being kicked out of parliament the way he was, even though we agree that he stayed in parliament just not just a little bit too long, but much longer than he should have. But it is a situation where just before he died, you felt sorry for the man. You felt very sorry for the man. He was old, in his 90s. I mean, still trying to clinch into the power, greed having the best of him. But the situation is not the same with Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma is a Pan-Africanist. He's been punished for trying to take the power away from the white minority, and he will forever be punished for that. The arms deal, cases that don't make sense against the former president. We even losing count of what actually is he in court for. You just feel like he's in court just because he's Jacob Zuma. All of the faults that the ANC has done has fallen onto his arms. But the same treatment does not apply to Cyril Ramaphosa. He's been treated differently. He can say he doesn't know what happened about the money in Palapala. He can say he was not involved with the funding of the CR7 campaign. It's like he's free. And Jacob Zuma had to pay back the money of Nkandla, and we can go on and on. Face the national shutdown, say Zuma must fall, the famous Zuma must fall shutdown. It doesn't stop with Jacob Zuma. At 81 years old, the man is still unable to live a free life. And I'm not defending him altogether, but you guys know my standing point with Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma is the only ANC president that was hated by white people. So for me, it showed me that they were intimidated and they did not like him for a reason, because that reason is under Jacob Zuma, the highest amount of black millionaires were created or formed, only under Jacob Zuma, because he managed to shift the funds back to the people, So there's no way a black president, an African president, can be liked by the people that colonized the country. It cannot be. It cannot be. So for me, I will always say, leave the old man alone. Let Zuma live his life. In fact, can we have some stories from Jacob Zuma? We know he's a great storyteller, he's a great singer. Let's hear some stories from him about the olden days, his days in parliament, and his views. He's a very well articulated president, former president. We want to hear what are his thoughts in everything that is befalling in us in the current political climax that we find ourselves in. Leave the old man alone. That is my favorite president, and I'm not favoring him because he's the cleverest. I'm not favoring him because he's got the most wives or anything like that. No, I'm favoriting him because he is the only black president in the history of South Africa that was not liked by the white people. For me, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. It might not speak volumes for other people. Other people might just say that we are just here we just keep on quoting the history, what happened to us. Remember, black person, you never got an apology from the Afrikaner from all the things they did. You never got an apology. When de Klerk did his apology, it was on his deathbed he was going. You never got a proper apology from anyone for the sins of being enslaved in your own land, taking your land, a woman being raped, a new culture or a new tribe of people by the name of colors being formed. They don't know who their ancestors are. They speaking the colonizers' language. They've got a colonizer's surname. Some black African people having African surname. Nobody has ever apologized for doing that to you. You don't even have land. You don't own the minerals. You are not in the JSE. You're nowhere to be seen, and it will take you many years to recover as long as we are not waking up. Black person. That's what I'm saying. It's not important for us for Jacob Zuma to go to prison. In fact, as Pan-Africanists, as pro-black people, we must think that this man has saved this country so much. He has went to jail. He was exiled. He was the head of the military arm of the ANC. In critical times where they were fighting the corrupt and heartless system of apartheid. Today we want to jail him. I can't. I don't know what is it that Zuma must go to jail for. I don't know. You guys remind me. Is it corruption? Because we always say he's the corrupt president. Immediately, him and the Guptas left. ESCOM became worse. You put in Andre the Reiter, still saying that he will better things. He made things worse, but you're still blaming Jacob Zuma. But when we blame history and what apartheid did to us, then we are wrong. But when you blame Jacob Zuma, it's fine. So people don't want to take responsibilities. Anyway, it's your boy King 053, Mr. Easy Money. I just wanted to say, leave the old man alone. Till next time, don't forget to pray, and I salute you.
At White Knot Technologies, we specialize in bags, embroidery, branded wear, and screen printing. We provide the finest quality for affordable price and fast turnaround time. We make sure you'll be satisfied with your order. Visit us at 18 Fisher Avenue, Epping.
Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, leave your thoughts on the comment section and hit the like and subscribe button, and we will meet on the next one.